Tuesday, 788 dollars Yomi. Like sponsor comes Shem more dollars Yomi. This company directly. Be greatly appreciated. Doing they were doing Simon Tough Side Hey, see if I'm involved. Simon Tough Side involved. See if that involved. Piece of company appears your vision Shem Vashlim. All the dried fruit which are cooked. I know company compots. Should have him. Shas Mayos Mishayom actually better yesterday's than today's. Also, Bashim Yontan can't do Shinoi. You can't cook on Yosef unless you do make a Shinoi. Which just says if you didn't make it for Arab Yontan because of some compelling reason, extenuating circumstances, what he calls here honest, not to make any Yosef even without a Shinoi. But you can even leave it. The Chatchila took them on Yontif with the Shinoi. It's interesting. As a Avram, confitorin, also it's confections. Zucker, anything made with sugar, candies, givik, whatever that means. Kamo lekach, tortin, tegelach, ein gemach, so it's the pastries. And also some beyontif, el rakadeh is a shinoi. So you make a shinoi if you make a beyontif. Some of that stuff probably tastes better fresh than not fresh, but because some of it doesn't. Also to pulverize almonds, to make to derive milk. Also, some yonder can't do it. Yonder keep my day shinoi. Only if you have a shinoi. Actually, maybe time size, even though the olive milk, almond milk, tastes a little bit better today than yesterday. Comes out to me the schitas perisha. Nevertheless, this is similar to squeezing fruit, which is forbidden. Koshkin should also got me gvinas on them. Now I have to make cheese on them. Which costs the common simon tavkuf yud ayin sham. So there's certain kind of things which are not mutter on Yontif, even though they're ochel nefesh, and evidently they're going to be clarified on Tov Yud, including the pounding of the almonds. But there's shinoi, it's okay. But making cheese, I don't think it's mutter even through a shinoi. Lamed Zayin, but see if you can cut he says, "Emotzi myself behem beyonce, you can't load an animal with cargo on Yontif." But Kalshano, come on, Avagaz Lake Shvisas Bento Chaygav, even though there's no issue Shvisas Bento, which kind of received on a base, like you wrote previously. Nevertheless, we come also with time shlo yeseg there shul also b'chol. Can't do it because it's uvda the chol. So you word does stuff on a weekday. Can't pass a ram and bear reish bear kei ansham. But the gets to mishum shtamish b'aychaim. There's also prohibition of using an animal, and I guess that also applies to even shvitas b'emto does not using an animal as a form of muktzah, and it does apply. Lamed ches ubesif the dalit because muktzah afa b'shemut of Shabbos muktzah even though it's mutter on Shabbos. Remember the other about sarua they machen the they forbade it. Sharon's hand says that simply wants to carry the muktzah in order to use it or to eat it, but if he wants to carry it in order to get to something which is mutter, in other words, it's on top of something which is mutter, then you're allowed to move it. So the Beis Yosef was very, very makatzer. Lo bi'ar da muktzah chanukah. Didn't explain it. Say about muktzah where something was not prepared properly ahead of time, which has been explained previously in this simon. Rabbeinu Makasal Yesh Matir Muktzah. Beyond those, Ramah writes that some people Matir Muktzah even on Yontif. Mishabur says, Moyavam says that's the Marshal, and the Prichodesh Mishabur says, according to the Minig Ar Medina, we only answer on Yontif the Muktzah of Noilad, not any other Muktzah. So Avon and this and that's with the next line. The Ramah Avon no also the Van Filu B'Shabbos. Noilad is also even on Shabbos, and it's also on Yontif. Something else Yosef. Akal Dictate reminded the Vrem. Mom is meticulous in what he said. Is that those who are matir muktzah still asinola. Sheyesh matir muktzah. Those who allow muktzah, but asinola. Yesh matir gam nola. But the people also are matir nola. He's not concerned to bring their opinion. Because most opinions forbid nola. Much cause of as we saw previously. The Sharatzin says that the muktzah of Noilad, which is not in the world at all before Yontif, such as ashes from a fire which is burned on Yontif. Rabbi Shimon is moided that it's muktzah gomer. Mishabur also says, no, we didn't get there yet. So we did. Oh yes, we did. Mishra says Akwayim right in Shabbos. Uh, we hold it as primary to be matir. I'm sorry, even on Shabbos, so the primary law is to be matir muktzim nolad. Nevertheless, in Yontif, you can't be matir. So nolad, and of course, the Mishabur had said a few moments ago that our minute is to be machir nolad, even by Shabbos, certainly by Yontif, and now to be machir muktzim b'achora. Lamates Okosav, Komux Shana Balichaim, any which is not animal, or Otzer Shaperis of Aitim, such as a stockpile of fruit and a wood. Sag, it's enough, even according to the assumption Mukta Bachana does apply. Shomar, it's enough to say, I'm going to take from here. Bain Suk Shishom enough to write. Mutachim Yont, the Rishon Shani, Mishnah Yom Time Shogolios. The Bishayt says last prayer from the first day to the second day Yontif. Yom Shani Shogolios. Klomar, Matirim Entzachim Yerkal, those who are Matir. Mukta b'achana, they don't require me at all. Iraq, we're going to simulate them only by drying dates and raisins. Shudachim b'yadayim, but you push away, explicitly. There, you would need to have a designation to make them available again. Which says they're not completely dried, but they are dried somewhat, because if they haven't dried at all, nobody eats them, and there's no way to prepare them. So it's in the process, but they are already edible as somewhat dry fruit. Even those who forbid and require achana, the officer dafka achana, but you have to specifically indicate which ones you're taking. Bialog says by doves, you might have to actually physically handle them. But if you say I'm going to take from here without writing down or designating this one or that one, also it's forbidden. What she's about saying top side design, it's not sufficient designation. A bird of payers, but in a stockpile of fruit, it's enough to say any kind of going to take from here tomorrow. He says in this respect, only in this respect, not in all respects. In this respect, Yontif Rishon prepares for the Yontif Sheni, that is, you can designate Yontif Rishon for use in Yontif Sheni. Avagav the Cholchan says in the all preparations. Also, this small preparation mutter. It's permitted. By birds, you're not allowed to prepare from one day to Yontif to the next. So Chana Gemura. That's much more stringent, severe designation. Shlomo Zebes Aninoto when you specifically point them out. So she Yershom, the Makom say Yito. Some say that also by a stockpile of fruit, you have to actually make a note. You're going to take from this place. So that's a Rambam. It's only by fruit which is not yet suitable altogether. To eat, even though they're a little bit suitable. You have to mark down daily to machar. You're going to take those tomorrow. So again, Yershom is, I don't think it's Dafko, because he said in the beginning it's enough to say specifically these. The Chadriya should do like the Machmirim. The Shabbat says Aloch be Machmir, at least in terms of Grogot Simukim when they're up on the roof, like fruit where it's in the stockpile. Perhaps you can rely on the generic designation. But you have it, you certainly rely on those who make it because, says the Arukh HaShulchan, Simchas Yontif, the Mishnah adds, according to that which wrote the Makzir by Muktzah, which you pushed off liberally, such as raisins and dates, you have to make a mark. If you got to make a mark for Yontif, and you mentioned, remember Yontif, you're not allowed to make any simon to prepare the fruit for Yontif Sheni. Okay, again, it seems that there are three levels here, and one of them is to write, the others designate specifics, and the others to designate generally. Chatchila, evidently, you have to be supposed to write. I guess a middle level is to say zeh v'zeh, and the lowest level is to say from this area. And from this area only works by fruit. Doesn't work, but the other two work by also birds. But chatchila by birds you should write down. But if you said zeh v'zeh v'zeh, I don't know if it's yevid, but Yeah, that seems to work as well. Nowadays, we don't really have these issues. Tough Tzadik Vav. Din Yantiv Sheni Shogolios. Logo Yantiv Sheni. Aleph. בגלל שעושים שני ימים טובים וחמור היום השני כי יום הראשון לכל דבר. In the goals we make the 2 days yontif, the second day is as severe as the first day of yontif in all matters. Levav makes the whole except for the needs of somebody who's dead or sick. K'mo bar, as we shall see. From Masazi Yontif Sheni said we mocks Yontif Sheni, scoffs Yontif Sheni. Chashav Ram Pergavam Mitam Torah. Ram explains enumerates this. Shazayacham Mechav Dal Varim Shem Kalim also. So the 24 things which we curse a person. Ayin Sham. We don't, we're not machmir to curse him. Hamakas or makas mardas. We just give him malchus to Rabbanan. Yesh misham you give him malchus to klol chamir malka. Those that say that malchus to Rabbanan is only 13 malchus, opposed to 39. I must have seen it at some point because it sounds vaguely familiar. The Mishnah Berurah says this, of course, is the person who scoffs Yontif is so culpable if he does it deliberately. Even if it's Mizal something which is a rabbinic enactment or even Tchum, also he put him in Cherem. Acharim said even if it's Mechala through a non-Jew, also he should be put in a lower form of Cherem, because then there's also in the Yontif Rishon, it's also Yontif Sheni. Base. Avgad Kam Kamas Matina the Over Isra Rabbanan Makina so Makas Marus. Even though we find some place that somebody who violates Isra Rabbanan gets Makas Marus, came with Shabbos. Mebasha Chame Tver Shabbos and he cooks with the hot springs of Tver on Shabbos. It's a Rabbanan and he gets Makas Marus. Namina Kenu. It is a way to understand it. The Baba Shikam Torah is saying which is primarily Torah. The Yesh was like Hami Sum Shin Rabbanan, but there's several prohibitions which are the Rabbanan. Tribe Mardus, that's sufficient to give the Makas Mardus. But something which is completely rabbinic. You're scoffing at it in order to uproot it. Ain't die b'mardus. We go overboard. It's not. It's like we say, for it's getting shenu nachash, right? That it's not enough to give the flogging. You need the cursing. And that applies in the sheni which is rooted in solidly in the rabbanon. The Mishnah says that those opposed can argue, and according to them, there's no difference between Yontif Rishon and Yontif Sheni. And I guess Yontif Rishon get Malchus, Yontif Sheni get Malchus Mardus. Everything has to do, however, with how Dayanim assess the situation. If we make on him with Malchus or to be Machmir with Cherem. They have the permission to put him in Cherem. We got a Chen Dios Yadayim, washing. The Adios. Also came Lamish Big Boat. They curse a person who scoffs at it or to cast down on it. Okay, call inyan, you can see uproots the entire concept. In terms of kilayim chutzlarts for mixing fruits together. Chutzlarts and those who applies chutzlarts. Tzarchas os kain, you have to curse. Vishas zakul d'rabbanan. Achon lo kaim lo kain ayin sham, but we don't have that perspective. You'll have to see there. Gimel vadlinya mace mishum kvadosh shemace. The only exclusion of this is for a person who died for the honor of that person. Hey, kill beyond the sheni, the lean of the sheni. Kach amru Chazal said yom the sheni gabe mace kol should be rabbanim. Yom the sheni vis-a-vis a corpse is like a weekday. Appears that it was part of the chavav. It's going to come up later on. Chaytil assume kachol be'ayin refu beyond the sheni. I'm pishem they allow putting an ointment in an eye. Yom the sheni, even if the malady is not one which is has a sakana. Mishnah says talking about where you feel a little bit of an ache in the eye, but the rest of your body is healthy. You don't feel any aches in your body on account of the eye. And the Yontif Sheni is mutzah even without a shinui to put this in the eye. Yeshua, some say do adin, which are called other illnesses which there's no danger. So come much you saw by Yontif Sheni, you do everything he needs, even by a Jew on Yontif Sheni. Yeshua dafkam lechas shvus. But those who say it's only the rabbanans, to put like putting ointment in eye. But not a complete and total malacha. The Shibur says even if his entire body aches, it's also to do it himself directly. By a shinui, it's not clear. You have to be certainly should be machir even beyond shinui because it's the rights like Shabbos. Does he understand it's rabbana? Perhaps can he make even for a cholish aimbo sakana, and he doesn't clarify this issue. Ella Idea Yehudi. But so the Gemara says the Arukh HaShulchan should be done by non-Jew. Come on, beyond the Rishon Shabbos, like if first day Yontiv and Shabbos. Ken halacha, and that's the halacha that absolute malacha should be done by a non-Jew. But the rabbinic prohibitions the Yisrael can do for himself. Even though Yontiv Rishon, he can only do it via a non-Jew. He made a machal shel guf if it is not. If it's not machlas kol it's not an entire body a thing situation. The term ain't beyond the Rosh Hashanah. All these terms not the second day Yontif of Rosh Hashanah. Shem and Rosh Hashanah they have a different definition. Kedusha richtahi. It's like a law extended unified kedusha. Moshe's by Makoma has become clarified much later on. Chen mila shlo bezmana so to bris milah which is not at the 8th day. Edoch yom shem shagos does not push off Yontif Sheni, which kasam the Yodeh is to Reish Lamvav. Feels suffix even if it's a dead question of doubt. Don't you understand? You have a no suffix shmi suffix chi. So Yontif Sheni, it could be it's his 8th day, it could be it's his 9th day. Obviously, even should we say something about the kula because Yontif Sheni is under the Rabbanan. Nevertheless, in order to preserve the character of Yontif Sheni, we don't do that. Some say it does push it off. Brackets here by Anshem B'Shachas mean Dain B'Shem Rosh Milonil the Deicha. He talk out that does push up Yontif Sheni. V'Yisem Gavos Gon Gimel. The Mishnah Nofav and Yitzur Adam, somebody who fell and he has a black and blue mark, which means that the blood is congealed underneath the skin. The Tzarech Lam Shichmed Adam Aidei Kepen. You have to remove the blood by cupping. Mishnah Bankis, which is we don't do anymore, but the Asa Fil Aidei it's us into a non-Jew. Shim Shiachol Avdin Bachar. I ain't trying because wait till tomorrow. Vorim doing man was astonishing. So maybe he'll get worse until tomorrow. It's permitted by non-Jew in kol chol yishem b'sakon like any sickness, but there's no danger. Unless the doctor says no problem waiting until tomorrow. The Shabur is more machmir. He says the black and blue mark is not really holy, which maybe it's not. Dalab Bnei Eretz Yisrael about Chutz Laaretz Bnei people from Eretz Yisrael in the Chutz Laaretz Api should die to Lachzor even though they might to go back. Lo Chalei Mechumri Makom Shalchol Sham and technically speaking they're not subject to the Chumas of the place where they went. Kam Kam Asin Lasos Melachim Yom Sheni B'Yishuv. Now let's not do Melachim Yom Sheni within the Jewish community and Machlokas. Not to go strife. K'mashtam Simin Tov Sanches. Yishin Davka Paresis. Some say it's only in public. Forbidden. About Tzina Mutter in private it's Mutter. But Tzina Leika Machlokas. They do it in private. It will not make a Machlokas. But some say that malachas asar ma'arat yiv shai slosa b'tzina kol kach. You can't do it so much in private. But in front of the zel pritzas gather b'davish kibu kol gola. It's also a breach in the fence that is universally accepted in kolus. Basa Medina is according to the letter of the law. The chain ikar. Arukh HaShulchan is very machmer on malacha by Ben Eretz Yisrael in Chutz Laaretz. Shabbat says, but if you did the malacha, we still don't put him in chayim. A lot of the post-community are meko on when people going to Chutz Laaretz, it's inappropriate kula. But as long as they haven't reached the community, I haven't come within 2,000 of the city. They're allowed to do everything. Even though they don't mind to go back, because they haven't yet been settled to be or set to be like the Bnei Chutz Laaretz until they reach that yishuv. The Sharatzion says that they can do even like a parhesia. Wow. They got a community, they're within 2,000 amos. They don't mind to go back. So even if it's not a city which has Jews. And Nasim Lagamik in the Chutz Chodovar. Now they're like Mei Chutz Laaretz. Not just the Malacha. Chayavim Le'nho Kedushas Yontiv Sheni. They have to keep the Kedusha of Yontiv Sheni. Gamet Tefillah Kiddush Birkas Hamazon with Tefillah, with Kiddush, and with benching. Mishnah says that those who Mako also in this case where they got to a city with no Jewish community, if they have mind to go back, you have to really get to a community of Jews. Normally, our commitment is to go on and do the last Sif and Simon, or the Mashal and Simon, but I think we've gone on long enough, so therefore we'll leave Sif Hay for tomorrow.